tơ rô có bấy chân miên tơ chân miên nó prey
ruột mà nấu sọ cái đàn tôm tia vĩnh chân miên kên tia nấu phum thay sọc nôm sọc
là hay bài đó mà
ọt chương đơ và chương đạn đơ ruột bàn.
Cambodia is the world's most disabled nation. For 12 years, a civil war has been fought between the Cambodian army and the Khmer Rouge. Both sides have used anti-personnel mines indiscriminately. The mines are designed to maim, not kill. A dead person can only be buried once. An amputee is a constant burden on the economy. There are 200 new amputations a month. Artificial limbs are an urgent priority. Happy hour at the Cambodiana Hotel. There is no shortage of Western aid agencies willing to tackle the amputee problem. But each agency has a different approach and a different solution. Will any of them work in Cambodia?
Tọp này mà phúng bò về lên là hỏi em lo nó toàn đến là chịu bây giờ chịu lựa giờ lời trái tình có họ
As a soldier, Chun Mali was entitled to an artificial limb. It was fitted at Watan, an old Buddhist compound which houses the National Rehabilitation Centre. For 10 years, this has been the only prosthetic project in Cambodia. The centre is funded by Handicap International, a French charity that specialises in simple technology.
Handicap International started the program using local materials because our philosophy is to start a program and after that local people to manage this program by themselves, not to have a country dependent on Handicap International.
The Handicap International limb has a leather socket, wooden shaft and a rubber foot. It's a basic design with two basic problems. The production process is so labour-intensive that only 10 limbs a week can be made at Watan. And the leather socket rots when it's used in water. Chun Mali has come back to Watan for a new limb. His old one needs replacing.
Khôi bài mình muốn lao bài này lao mà nơi lơ nè rồi smart đại nhé hay đã lấy bài về sập cho thằng nó hay về vật tu tới đại ấy cô về thông hay bạn ấy cô về bạn là thưa thay đó về thông chẳng tới cái đấy về lùng lệnh lùng cái về chữ đã về chữ phượng chữ loạt chữ.
Oxford is the home of the Cambodia Trust, a new British charity providing assistance to Cambodia. The chairman of the trust is Peter Carey, a Don from Trinity College, an expert on Southeast Asian affairs.
The Cambodia Trust was founded as a group of friends, and we founded it as a humanitarian response to the intensification of the civil war. I feel strongly about a situation which has been allowed to deteriorate in the way it has. I mean, I'm Irish, and therefore I feel very strongly for a people that has its back to the wall. When we founded the Cambodia Trust, we thought it would be computers, it would be satellite radio telephone links. And it was only when we asked the Cambodian government in the person of the Prime Minister what his priorities were that the idea of really focusing on artificial limbs became a priority.
Nothing in my career as a journalist prepared me for the horrors I found in Cambodia. Near Phnom Penh, more than 8,000 of those...
Dr. Mitra started working for the Cambodia Trust in December '89.
I was a surgeon working in a hospital at the time, and one night I saw John Pilger's Cambodia Year 10. That program really shook me up.
70% are women, many of them widows forced to watch the murder of their families and then forced to marry someone they didn't know.
There was this tiny nation which was being pushed into a corner and bullied and battered.
For 10 years, they've received no help from any...
I had to do something. Maybe I had to make my contribution, make some gesture to protest against it and help the people of Cambodia. So I rang up and got in touch with the Cambodia Trust a couple of days later.
Mitra was taken on as the Trust's medical advisor. It was his job to find a design for the limb project, something more practical than the Handicap International limb. His first research led him to the modular system, an aluminium and plastic limb which has been widely used in Britain. Mitra showed that after a little training the limb could be produced by someone with no experience or expertise.
Just another one. It's bigger than the one before. The Trust were delighted, and they wanted to take the modular system, put it on display, get it on television, and go and approach various aid agencies with a view of getting funding from them. And I said, look, hold on, we are not ready yet. We have only looked at one system. We haven't actually studied whether this is suitable for application. We know we can make it cheaply, but is this suitable for the Cambodian needs? This had to be verified. Dr. Sethi, hello, it's Mitra here. I'm calling from London.
Mitra read an article about another artificial limb, the Jaipur foot, which already has a track record in third world countries.
Yes, and I'd like to see some limbs being made.
The Trust agreed to send him on a research trip to India.
To find out how they feel about the limb and what their experience is, and mainly to learn everything I can about the limb and see whether whether this can be adopted for Cambodian situation.
For 20 years, amputees have been drawn here by the reputation of the Jaipur foot. Such is its fame a feature film was made about the true story of Mayuri, a dancer who lost her leg but learnt to dance again with a Jaipur foot. The main ingredient of the Jaipur foot is rubber from flip-flops. The rubber is cut and shaped as a foot. It's then covered in black car tyre rubber for strength and light brown rubber for looks. It's heated in a pressure cooker. At the same time, the leg is cut from a sheet of aluminium and panel beaten into shape. It's given a cosmetic top coat and left to dry. The end result is a limb that's flexible and strong.
Seeing the Jaipur foot was really exciting to me because this was the answer to the Cambodian problem. Because this limb was designed specifically with a rural third world amputee in view. It was so practical, so real. It did not need any high technology. It did not require electricity. It could be worn quite comfortably without any shoe. I thought, wow, this is the answer. When I came back from Jaipur, and I met the trust people and explained to them, here is what we've got. Now, my trip to India has been perfectly useful and it's very satisfactory. Let's go ahead and take the system. We can set it up straight away. And they didn't say anything and they sort of were quite indifferent about it. And then I found out that, in fact, while I was away in India, they paid for my air ticket to go to India. They paid £1,000 for me to go to India, do all this research, meet the people, learn about the Jaipur foot. And while I was away, they had in fact decided to go ahead with the modular system. And when I came across this, I was really shaken up. I phoned them and said, look, if this is the way you're going to conduct your affairs, I don't want to have anything to do with you. And I dissociated myself and sent my resignation letter. But at the same time, I got a letter saying that your services are no longer required. I was sacked. So both things happened at the same time.
The Cambodia Trust has been given thousands of second-hand modular limbs by the NHS. They will be stripped and any usable components will be shipped out to Cambodia. Modular limbs are so called because each component can be changed without replacing the whole limb. The Trust has also bought £30,000 of new stock. David Aston has been chosen as the field director of the limb project. This is his first sight of the limbs he'll be taking to Cambodia.
Come to see what we've got here. This is the type of design we'll be using. And the outside is polyurethane foam, made up of two chemicals, mixed them in a little tub, pour them into a steel mould, close the mould over the foot, go away and have a cup of tea, come back, break open the mould, and there's the foot.
You don't have to heat that?
So they like the mould to be slightly warm, but it doesn't need heating. It cures at room temperature. And I think conditions in Phnom Penh will be fine.
I haven't actually worked with this type of limb project before. Oh, yes.
But what we're working on at the moment is trying to stabilise it.
I hadn't realised it was quite so complicated. But I have worked in the Third World in relief aid work in Pakistan and many parts of Africa. So it's not too dissimilar. But surely if that's covered with the polyurethane...
That's right. Our wood's okay there, but a complete wood foot would be completely unsuitable.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of old limbs and because you got a lot of spares cheap, it doesn't mean that you should go and set up a project based on this. It's like an old Indian saying where it says, you don't go around buying horses because you found a horseshoe. This is absurd. Because you have a lot of spares and old limbs, you don't go and set up a project without testing whether the system is inherently suitable for the social and cultural needs of the people on whom you're going to use it.
Now, what about the problem? You know, out there, they're working in the rice fields, and it's very humid and wet climate.
That's what I'm
People
working on at the
standing
moment.
in water.
Yes. Not so much. Well, the water's a problem, but also humidity.
Oh, the humidity.
We're talking
as
90%
well.
humidity, 90
So
degrees
just
heat.
the actual climatic humidity.
Yeah. The foam can start to collapse and break down. So I'm working on putting a stabilizer inside the foot, hopefully. It's an ultraviolet stabilizer, just a chemical mix will pour in with the two chemicals into the mould. And if that works, then you've got something that's no moving parts, almost indestructible, and sort of perfectly suited to splashing around in a paddy field.
This limb has been designed to be used with shoes for shoe-wearing people. Now, if you just imagine the situation where a rural peasant woman is wearing a pair of shoes or one shoe, trying to plow a field, and each time she puts her foot into the mud and takes the leg out, she leaves the shoe behind. I mean, this system is absurd. I mean, it might work excellently. It's a superb system for England where all the infrastructure is there and people walk on pavements and use all the modern modes of conveyance. But this is a disaster in Cambodian situation.
David Aston's arrived in Phnom Penh. He is here to set up the Cambodia Trust Limb Centre. A site has already been chosen at Phnom Penh's prestige hospital, the Calmet.
I thought I was coming into a very stressful situation, but I found it so far, especially in Phnom Penh. I mean, it's very pleasant. Very pleasant. It's locked. I guess there's no way to get in at this time of day. It's unfortunate. But anyway, this is the building we've chosen to set up the main workshop. I mean, it's an ideal size. It's at a very high roof. And lots of space, adequate for setting up work tables and the whole equipment that we need to make the legs. We're going to put brick walls about halfway up, and then windows along, the door will stay there, and we'll put windows along both sides so that you've got lots of light, and in the event of the power breakdown, you can open the windows and get some fresh air inside. But ideally, the building will be air-conditioned.
Have the architects been easy to work with? Are they trustworthy?
Well, they seem well, as trustworthy as you can imagine in this country. But they seem to know what they're doing. When I described the needs, so they came up with a rather good plan based on one that I had drawn out, copied from Roehampton, and I think we can start by the 1st of June.
The Cambodia Trust has run into financial problems. It was hoping for a grant from the Overseas Development Agency, but the ODA is refusing to commit itself. Until the grant arrives, none of the limbs can leave Britain.
Must be frustrating just waiting.
Very, very. Now it's getting frustrating. Earlier on last month there wasn't too bad. There was a lot I could do, but now I'm held up through lack of a decision of whether to proceed or not. It looks like it won't be until August or September until we can actually get into production.
There was going to be a big party on July the 1st to celebrate, wasn't there?
Well, it was to be July. I think it's going to have to be American Labor Day or something now. But I'm very impressed with this wharf here. It's much bigger than I anticipated. I was led to believe it was just a mud bank which we had to scramble up. I can visualize pulling the containers, the coolies, strings of coolies on ropes, hauling the containers up the muddy bank on rollers. But at least they've got some cranes, and hopefully they're big enough to haul the containers up.
David Aston was subsequently sacked by the Trust following complaints about his management style.
Yep.
Since parting from the Cambodia Trust, Mitra has tried to persuade other agencies to take the Jaipur Foot to Cambodia.
Out of the blue, I had a call from Washington from the Vietnam Veterans of America Foundation. Ed Miles was on the phone. He said, "We've heard about your ideas and this project, and would you give us some more information on this?"
Yeah.
And I was really thrilled.
That it can easily be maintained and made by the Cambodians using entirely locally available materials.
Ed Miles is the Associate Director of the Vietnam Veterans of America Foundation, an anti-war campaign group. He's a double amputee. In 1968, he was a captain in the U.S. Army.
I really jumped at the chance to work in Cambodia because for the 20 years since the war, you carry this around with you. It's a very personal thing that I don't think you ever get rid of. And the 1 year you spent there, or the 8 months like I spent before I got wounded, were the most intense of my life. I was out on a patrol early in the morning. Walked into a village and we got ambushed. My right leg was just about blown off entirely and my left one was only barely there. They took it off when I got back to the hospital. But I never felt bitter about the people of Southeast Asia. I had seen the suffering that they had gone through in the time that I was there. And I think the certain solidarity I felt with them, especially among amputees, made me feel like I could go back and work with them would be something that would help my life too. My first priority was to find the right prosthetist. I got in touch with one of our members. He's an ex-Marine turned prosthetist. He calls himself Dave Evans. We call him the prosthetist from hell.
Dave Evans works for the charity Medical Aid for El Salvador. He took up prosthetics after being wounded in Vietnam.
I lost both my limbs below the knee. I'd been shot through the arm, the back, and I had shrapnel on my head and my eyes. I was angry at the world. I was angry that I had to face this reality, that this would really happen to me. But I think it made me a more compassionate and determined fighter. And it seems like I've been fighting against injustice since then.
The Ransom E. Ransom Traffic to Jersey, please go to the Gatwick Catholic Special Services Desk.
Ed, how are you?
Oh, it's very lovely to see you.
Heard a lot about this. From Ed, a lot of correspondence, huh?
We're a little late. It's fine. I just can't. I just. I don't know. I mean, I've spoken to you so many times.
Yeah.
We're just wondering, what you look like, and.
I don't think we look too good after we get off the flight. 8 hours you know? on the airplane.
Yeah, come on, let's go.
I felt better.
I had to convince the Vietnam veterans that Jaipur system is the most suitable answer to the Cambodian disability problem. I wanted to take them to India, show them the system, and I was really looking forward to taking them there. I was very excited. I wanted Ed and Dave to meet Dr. Sethi. He was the one who had spent a lifetime in developing this system. And I wanted them to understand his philosophy behind the Jaipur Foot.
One of the points I would want you to notice is that the limb maker is working on a live patient, right, and not on an inert plaster mold, right. They belong to the same social class. They use the same language and dialect and idiom, and the interaction which takes place between the limb maker and the patient, and the kind of empathy which is generated, right, is something quite remarkable, which you don't see in conventional limb fitting shops.
Well, that's why we want to train Cambodians to do this procedure. We'll have people.
Well, I think it is important that it should be Cambodians who should be taught how to make limbs.
Absolutely.
Because then there is that cultural, understanding of each other.
These two are from America. They're from the Vietnam America Foundation.
Dr. Sethi has sent them on to a local music shop. This is where the molds for the Jaipur foot are made.
Cold drink लाइए.
Cold drink, soda.
लाइए दीजिए.
अब आप एक डाई भी मंगा.
अच्छा अबरार डाई लेके आओ. पाँव की जो बनाई है डाई है. लीजिए आप लीजिए.
You've seen these?
Molding करते हैं सर.
How much do they cost, and how long does it take to?
This cost मतलब 200 वो 2,500 rupees.
Good price. 2,500 rupees.
Yeah.
Yes.
How long does it usually take you to make one?
Yeah.
How long?
मतलब within 1 month.
1 month's time.
1 month time.
If you ask me how I feel now, I feel wonderful. I really do. It's just such a relief, like a huge weight is just lifted off. I really feel good.
I was cynical. I'd worked 16 years now with state-of-the-art prosthetics componentry. I'm firmly convinced now of the Jaipur system. It's going to revolutionize, prosthetic services in every developing country in this world if we can get the message out for it.
It is. And we'll make sure it will.
The ICRC has 24 orthopedic workshops in 13 countries. In countries at war, it's not only small children that have to learn to walk.
Yet another agency is entering the field. The International Committee of the Red Cross is the world's largest aid organization. It's decided to spend $1 million a year on a new prosthetic program. It's worked in Cambodia since 1979 and runs a network of regional hospitals. But it's not been involved in prosthetics until now.
Some of the agencies that are already here are not so happy to see ICRC arriving. I think they are worried because we come in with big means, with lots of machinery and quite a large team of specialists, So some smaller agencies must fear that they'll be threatened, that their own programs will be threatened. Some of them do react, as the small grocery around the corner that sees the big supermarket arriving.
The Red Cross wants Handicap International to give up its wood and leather limbs and use a plastic limb that the Red Cross will make for them. Handicap International sees this as a takeover bid.
Why is there so much competition between different agencies?
It's because agencies think their approach is better than the other one and the other one. And every week you have an agency arriving here and say, I will do that. So it's always the same.
If all these agencies come and start taking over the area of prosthetics, would Handicap International leave Cambodia?
Maybe we think about that, I don't know, we will see.
We don't want I repeat it, we don't want to kill the others. It's not in our interest, and it's not in the interest of the handicapped in Cambodia. So we will make concessions, and we will go very, very far. Don't tell them, but we'll go very far to try to find at least a peaceful coexistence. I think we should be careful with deregulation of the market, so to say, in Cambodia, because if everyone steps in and does its own project with its own technique without talking to everyone else and just starts dealing with various ministries, I think we'll just create a very big mess in Cambodia, and that's not going to help the amputees in the end.
The civil war is officially over, and Phnom Penh is returning to normal. But the countryside is still riddled with unexploded mines. The war may be over, but the amputee problem will continue for decades. At Calmet Hospital, the Cambodia Trust Limb Centre is nearly ready. The original building was knocked down because it was found to have termites. So a new centre has been built from scratch. This has delayed the launch by 7 months. Tomorrow the centre will be opened by Prince Sihanouk, who has returned to Cambodia after 21 years of exile.
The roads you can see were built in 6 days solely for the Prince to arrive in comfort when he gets here. Trees have been knocked down, our wards have been painted, the adjoining buildings have all been painted, and they've trebled the workforce. We're having a problem with the port. We have equipment we need getting through customs, which is being very slow. It's being held up. We need a permission from about 3 separate ministries to get anything through and into this country. And the equipment is necessary for our first patients to be able to walk tomorrow morning. And it's 9 o'clock now. It'll take us 3 hours to make the legs. They're not going to have much practice before we get them on the big day.
Limbs for children? Yes, for children. Ah, yes. These are the moulds that we make the feet out of. You can see the toes with the
He was in need of a little bit of PR, and nothing looks better than helping amputees. It'll all be on Khmer TV tonight, but it works well for us, so we can't complain.
This man has a leg he can walk in the paddy field with the natural toes. That's good.
Grand opening on July the 1st, I remember, right? Last year.
This is Cambodia. I think optimism is always fine when you're in Britain. When you come out here, you sort of realise a little bit. Optimism doesn't work too much here. You got to work with the people that are here and at their pace. But the important thing is we've launched with a big bang. So now the word will go out, and we'll be fending them off at the door, I should imagine, from now on. And the Prince kindly left us 40 amputees to start work on tomorrow. So not much celebrations for us, I'm afraid. We'll be up early and getting those people walking.
The Red Cross has already set up its workshop. It's producing plastic limbs that Handicap International has agreed to use. The two agencies have signed a formal cooperation agreement. They call it the National Prosthetics Plan.
Has it been easy to reach agreement with all the different organizations?
Well, it took over 2 months to reach an agreement, but we reached it, and I think it's very good for Cambodia. If you diversify too much, you will dispense your energy on different kind of spare part, and then you will provide less prosthesis to the patient. Where if we use the same technology, we can cope with the situation much better.
After some deliberation, the Cambodia Trust has decided to join the national plan. There's a lot of common ground between them and the Red Cross. Their limbs are very similar. But the Trust still has doubts about the move to a single limb design in Cambodia.
There's a national prosthetics program, and we were outside of that plan to start with, and that did cause tension between those organizations working inside the plan and us working outside. We've recently, very recently, over the last 2 weeks, when the chairman of the trust was here, sorted most of those problems out. But I don't think we are reaching the point where we'll abandon our system to adapt their one technology. If anything, we could argue that if they adapt one technology, it should be ours.
The national plan has made little difference to Phnom Penh's poorest amputees. They still have to beg for a living because they're not eligible for artificial limbs.
Ông cam nu thò máu thử đai bàn tay kia mình tới kết cú nhom chia chôn đi kia kết cú ta vô thia ban kia phơi ao kia chất đất mua vô thia và nhom chia chôn kia ọt phơi ao nhom ấy nhom chia chôn kia ọt chất đất mua nhom thế ông cam nu thò máu nơi cho mua rọt của nhom chia chôn nhom nơi sen vô thia ban kia thử ao kia mình tới kết cú của nhom ấy nhom chia chôn.
The Vietnam veterans have arrived. They've appointed Ron Pulaski as their project director, while Dave Evans, their prosthetist, alternates between El Salvador and Cambodia. The Veterans Project isn't in Phnom Penh town, but a ferry ride away, on the island of Kien Klang. They've been given premises in an old compound for military amputees. They've brought over 3 of Dr. Setti's technicians to train Cambodians to make the Jaipur foot. The veterans have not joined the national plan. They prefer to work independently.
This program is ran on the ground by Ron Pulaski here in Cambodia, Ed Miles in Washington, and I'm their consultant. There's 3 of us who do all the coordinating of the work. And then we have the Cambodians who work here and the Indian technicians who work here for us. So there's not a lot of staff, not a lot of overhead, not a lot of bureaucracy. And I think cutting through that kind of red tape and the bureaucratic bullshit has given us this head start on other operations here in Cambodia. I think we're a year and a half, 2 years ahead of any other project here in this country.
What do you think of the Vietnam Veterans Project?
Well, they will go their own way because they don't want to join the agreement. We cannot do anything more than let them doing what they want.
Have you been to try and persuade them?
We had discussion before they start the project.
The International Committee of the Red Cross did not want us to do this project here. They were very much against us working on our own here in Cambodia and tried to talk us out of starting this project. And what we said at the end of the meeting was, look, we're going to cooperate with anybody who wants to cooperate with us, but we're going to hit the ground running. And when you guys are finished with your study, hopefully we'll have fit 200 Cambodians with limbs.
The Jaipur prosthesis is made out of aluminum sheet. And this is more difficult. It's simple technique. But I'm not sure that the Cambodians are as skilled as the Indian to panel beat this material.
The only ones who have criticized the Jaipur technology are people who haven't come out to see what we're doing. Now, if they all want to adopt a technology that requires dependency on outside sources because you have to import materials, then that's fine. They can go ahead with that technology. There are parts of that technology that we're looking at. We're not closed to it. We're really not. But we don't understand why someone as small as we are
such a threat.
Seem to be such a threat to people that are as big. This one voice, we adopt one technology and we speak with one voice, I think hurts the handicapped people. Because what you're telling them is they have no choice.
I'll mark it like this. Line these lines up here. Hold it real tight for me. Hold it real tight. Come over here now.
The veterans are the first to experiment with artificial arms.
Jaipur arm, huh? Goddamn. Said he's going to be proud of us, huh? And then anterior out. Let's raise it up. So line the hook up. Okay. So this is perfect. See? You can see. When he comes up, smoke a joint, smoke a cigarette, and he can feed himself. Okay, that's great. This is good. We'll cover this in leather, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll cover the arm.
Yeah.
Look like his leg. Yeah. Cost you an arm and a leg. Smile, everyone. Get in, little Abdul. Okay, guys, let's get a big smile here for Seti.
One person is missing from the picture.
All right, good shot.
Mitra.
Good shot. It'll be a great shot. Boys, good.
Having helped set up the Veterans Project, Mitra has left and returned to surgery.
My ambition, my dream, was to set up a national rehabilitation program which would deal with the entire Cambodian problem adequately and completely, because we have the right system. But I don't see this is going to happen because most of the aid agencies have formed into a national plan, and they've chosen a different design or different designs, which I think are inappropriate, but because of their power, the Vietnam Veterans Project is being marginalized. And however successful our design is, it's never going to get a chance to prove its worth and actually solve the problem of Cambodian people. There is not. It is sad for me that we have the answer, but we still can't use it. But there isn't much more I can do against the power of this huge aid industry group. So I've decided to leave. The aid industry is the biggest boom industry in Cambodia at the moment. Lots of people are flocking in there from all over the world with great intentions of improving the Cambodian situation. But once they get there, they sink into this cozy expat lifestyle in their villas, four-wheel drives. And the way they live seems to be a world apart from the way the Cambodian people live.
Imagine if you were one of these guys to contract a steel car, the red one you want. You can give them all the specifications you're looking for. Like a convertible, like a little Mazda Miata. That'd be very nice.
I was quite naive. I believed that given the right system, all these aid agencies will get together and support the system to deal with the problem of Cambodians adequately and completely. But what I found was that a lot of other things seemed to be much more important. The size of their organization, their global situation, the power they exerted, their ability to raise funds. And strangely, in this fame game, the amputee didn't seem to be the number one priority. This was a sad realization.
Cả muốn nhom lột, ở miền chỉ chót đa nhom lột tới nhom lực khơi cái miền chương đa chương giống nhom miền chương to nhom từ thơ từ cặp chơi vô mò trăng vía vía phu đạp vô liệt đạp thơ từ chương nâng thơ mòm thơ ban đa thơ bỏ cháu thơ pi bay bỏ cháu ban thơ chương nâng ban đa ban nhom ban thơ ấy ban nơi tia thơ càng như nơi tia ban mà nhóm bữa ọt miên cầm nứt thơ chương nhom thơ ấy bán ấy nhom lột ọt miên ấy đá nhom lột là hốt miền rọt na chui ốp thom oi nhom ban chương đá ọt miên cầm nứt luôn ai ban thơ ban.
The solutions to these third world problems don't lie in the universities of Oxford or in the United States, but lie in the back streets of Jaipur, in the slums of Phnom Penh, and in umpteen small workshops scattered throughout the third world. And this is where they should be looking for. And any solution that has been developed locally will survive because it has grown out of necessity. Unless the aid industry appreciates this point, any amount of effort, any amount of money will prove of little benefit.